Hey everybody, my name is Dan Clark.
Hi, I'm Angela Clark.
And hey, we have an important message to give you today. You know, there's a disease spreading, and it's not the disease they're talking about on CNN. The disease is communism, and the people are perishing because of a lack of knowledge. And this doesn't have to be. This doesn't have to be. The only reason people are folding, the only reason people are giving in to these mandates is because they don't know that they can't mandate what it is they're mandating, which is the jab, the face mask. They can't mandate it. That's all illegal, and my wife is going to prove to you, because here's the thing. We always thought that this was going to be over there. This was going to be in another country. Then we said, oh, that's what happens in New York City. Oh, that's what happens in California and Washington. But I'm telling you, it's creeping in. Think about it. The schools are saying all your kids have to be vaccinated. Children's vaccinations. I mean, a lot of kids, I don't know the numbers, but a lot of kids became autistic and suffered from Asperger's and many things because of the mega doses of vaccinations they were giving them as a child. And now they want to mega vaccinate them again. Everybody thought they were going to get one vaccination, but it turns out two. Now it's the, what is
Boosters.
it? The booster and the booster and the booster. It's not going to stop because dark forces have said this is the time in our history of the vaccinated. This is the time where this is going to be a regular practice, that we're just going to have to be shot every week, every month, twice a year for the rest of our lives. This is the season we're living in. This is bullshit. Yeah. And we're going to prove it to you. And see, here's the other thing. When it really comes down to it, will they be able to hold Biden accountable for what he's doing? No, because they'll say he was crazy and Fauci was just following orders and all this crap. Meanwhile, millions of people are perishing because of a lack of this knowledge, because of a lack of understanding their rights. The Nuremberg code that said they couldn't push beyond our rights. They can't violate our information about us. They can't say, I'll let Angela explain it.
I don't know. Right now, my brain's going mushy. Guys know how it is. You read these things and you try to soak it all in. It's like, ooh, it's just so much information. But we need to really, really study these things so we've got them on the tip of our tongue, ask for help to do that, because we need to be informed and we need to be able to speak what it is we know so that we can win. If we don't know what our rights are, we don't know what the law is, that's why our jobs perish. That's why we perish for a lack of knowledge. We can't stay uninformed. We can't stay weak. We can't stay innocent. We can't just stay in our little homes and ignore it and pretend it isn't coming here. And besides, we have a responsibility by loving our neighbor as we love ourselves to get involved and to do something. We just can't stay innocent Christians, minding our own business, hoping heaven's coming any day. And I want to say this, all my life, since I was a young 21-ish year old, I realized that I don't like Bill Gates, and it was because he believed in eugenics, which is destroying the old people because, as much as possible, because they're using up resources, and I did not like him for that. And then I find out more recently that his father was into eugenics. And so he's been taught that even by his father. And he is worked together with, in company with, in corporation with Dr. Fauci. So they're in bed together. And you guys, the quicker we face this, the better. We need to know our rights. So here's what I want to say.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
And here's the other thing that's happening, people. A lot of people that work with people, that jobs require that they work with people, are being told, people that have worked 30 and 40 years for a company, that are ready to retire and ready to get the pension that they've worked so hard for, that they've given their lifeblood for, that they put their whole life on hold for. The companies are saying, it's mandated, you need a vaccine or you won't get your retirement. That's why they're doing a walk off the job November 8th through the 11th. It's a 4-day shutdown to say no. We can say no. We don't have, this is not a mandate. This is totally illegal. Just because some crazy man, Biden, says this is a mandate, doesn't mean it's a mandate. These are laws. We have laws in our Constitution that says they cannot do this. But if we don't know them, we just bow our heads and allow this socialistic disease to come in as it's coming, and it's not stopping. Before you know it, they're going to be shooting the women's babies before they come out. I mean, it's going to get so sick. I mean, people that have been in this communism has been in communism, like those in China. They're over here preaching to us, God Almighty, don't let this country go the same. You guys got to wake up. You guys got to know what's going on. People are perishing for a lack of knowledge. We need to get informed. So, Angela,
right.
Go ahead.
Besides that, nurses are doing what they should not be doing, which they will end up having war crimes for, and at least accomplices for doing what they blindly trusted some psycho, sick, physically, emotionally sick president, along with Fauci, who obeys orders from God only knows who's always been involved in eugenics with Gates. I mean, come on, you guys. We can't just put our heads in the sand and pretend like we don't know these things. We actually do know these things. And guess what? These nurses and us, if we also contribute to the death of these children that are coming up, they're trying to vaccinate them now, and people, war crimes are going to be coming out the yin-yang, and people are going to be put in prison.
You're not going to escape, because you have the spirit. I have the spirit of truth and falsehood. I get to choose. When that falls, in the beginning in the Bible, when it says they become like us, knowing truth and falsehood. So if you knowingly push aside the agenda of truth for filthy lucre or money, if you allow, what is it? The money changers. Mm-hmm. If the money changers rule your temple, if money is king, then you will compromise your integrity. But what's happening now is the integrity you're compromising are people losing their lives. They're interviewing doctors and nurses. They're going in the hospital with cameras saying, this guy does not have COVID. Why is he on a ventilator? Why are these 4 guys on a ventilator? And the nurses are going like this. You know why they're doing that? Because they know what they're doing. They're being incentivized.
And guys, we saw, Dan and I, a play. It's called Shen Yun. And it's actually in Denver right at the moment at the Buell Theaters. We just saw it here in Boise. And oh my gosh, they show what communism was like. They showed women being shot forcefully with a needle. They played it out. And then they were all handing money to the doctors. It was like kind of like
greedy doctors.
Kind of like a Hitler guy was doing that. And the next thing you know, oh my gosh, the same guy realizes that woman they just shot and he was all happy about and got paid money to these guys to do it, finds out that it was somebody that he loved. We didn't know.
A relative, a wife, a sister.
Daughter or something. And he was crying all over it, And they said this has really gone on. This was a really true story in China that's been going on. Now it's here. And they're hush-hush. It's not on the news. We're hearing football players who are dying after working really hard. Their hearts give out. They're dying. They're not reporting it. You guys, we have to wake up. That we have to take responsibility for our neighbor. We can't allow the neighbor's children, if we don't have any, to be shot up by these people. That we have to take responsibility and realize what's going on. So I want to tell you about this. Is really, really important. There's this website. I just want you to write it down right now. It's called healthfreedomdefense.org. www.healthfreedomdefense.org. Honey, I think it's showing backwards.
That's okay. It'll rewrite.
Okay. So again, health, HEALTH, freedomdefense.org. And you go in there, and right away, there's on the top or on the side, however it comes in your computer, second one, resources. Click on resources, and what comes up is Health Freedom Defense Fund that has supplied frequently asked questions regarding the COVID-19 vaccine, all the questions and answers for you to know, so you can educate yourself about your rights and whatnot, and what you need to know about what's going on with it. Then we got frequently asked questions about the tests that they're requiring you to do at your employers, and the frequently asked questions regarding the masks and what you need to know about that. And then the best part is the notice to employers. March 2nd, 2021. This is put together by lawyers who show all the law, They talk about all the things you need to know and that your employer needs to know. Because here's the thing. Our employers don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just obeying, just like we're obeying the employers. They're uneducated, most of them. They don't know, or if they do, they're illegal, and
Even
they're going
some
to
doctors,
and they're going to
saying.
have war crimes on them. Know this, okay? War crimes. You need to know your rights. Again, we perish, we lose things, we lose our jobs, we lose our loved ones because of lack of knowledge, because we just don't want to know. I don't want to know. It's time we have to know, or we're going to be like Australia guys, New Zealand guys.
It's
here. Other places.
It's coming here. It's permeating.
We can't just keep on saying, "Oh, I'm just getting ignored. It'll go away." It's not going away.
I'm going to tell you what the virus is: laziness and a lack of knowledge. That's the virus. Because of laziness and a lack of knowledge, the virus of dark forces are entering this country and permeating it. And everybody's just sitting back, relaxing, getting high, getting drunk, doing whatever, but they're not looking into this. But it is permeating, and it's going to come to your front door and my front door.
Right. So what I would like you to do, if you would, please, copy these letters. They're one page only. Okay, one page. That's it, one page. That's regarding the masks. The other one's about the vaccines or the and one page, okay, it's got the title and law that makes it right on the bottom. It's also in here too. And it spells everything out, why they can't make you wear the wet mask, why they can't make you take the vaccine, the laws they're breaking if they do. There's the Nuremberg Code. It shows, the Food and Drug Administration and our rights under the EAU's emergency use authorization. It says, so anyway, it shows, like right here, I'll just read you a little bit of it. This serves as notice to all employers that any compulsory COVID-19 requirement imposed upon an employee violates federal law. That's how it states, okay? And the Food and Drug Administration Cosmetic Act vests the Secretary of Health and Human Services with the permissive authority to grant emergency use authorizations. However, the statute requires that, and it shows you all the things that they're required to do, which they're not able to do. And so it shows, the Nuremberg Code, another one that talks about our RNA and DNA and the different issues with regard to why this is not okay, why we can't be okay with it, why it's against the law, why it's illegal, and why it breaks the law, the federal law, and all these other things. Same with the mask, exactly the same thing. What the laws are. And so it helps them to be on notice. They cannot do this to you.
And so your action could be, instead of them threatening to fire you, you can find an attorney that can explain this to them and explain that they are going to be sued. Your employer that's imposing on you illegal mandates can be sued. This is the truth. They can be sued. So all you have to do really is to have a voice and stand up for truth. Truth is going to reign. Truth is going to win. It's like a lady said, if truth wasn't going to win, we'd all have blonde hair and blue eyes.
Right,
because Hitler would have taken over, but he didn't. Truth prevails in the end. So we want to be on the side of truth. We don't want to compromise. So this is a warning video. This is a warning for you people that are compromising. I heard a lady say, it was about a month back, this lady told her, I don't want to go into this place because I don't want to spread any COVID. And she said, just go in there. Just do it. Who cares? Take the money. They're giving you extra money to go in there. But she says, but I might be sick. The nurse told her, take the money. That is what I mean by compromising, killing people, really killing people. We're talking about murder.
It's not just compromising your integrity. It's way worse than that.
It's way worse.
It's like, giving your your soul for soup. It's that bad, guys. It's really pretty.
And you're not going to escape.
Serious.
I'm telling you,
no.
You won't escape.
So quit now while you're ahead. If you've done any of this,
good guys, bad guys don't care if they throw you under the bus. Once you do the dirty work, they throw you under the bus.
They do.
And
That's what
it's
Hitler
over
did.
for you. Why? Why would you allow that?
No. So I want to read this about the notice to employers with regard to the face mask. Thus, by the FDA's own admission, face masks such as those in common use by the public are not intended to protect the wearer or others from the COVID-19 virus. This is their own admission, as they do not prevent or reduce infection. This is the FDA saying this. And then this right here. So with regard to this emergency, mandate, was the emergency what does that stand for again?
I don't know.
Okay, so the EAUs issued, so they specify, as long as the EAUs pertaining to face masks remain in force and effect, any mandate requiring employees to wear face masks would conflict with Section 360 BBB-3, and it goes on, which requires that the employee be informed of the option to refuse the wearing of such device. Okay, so guess what? We have a right to refuse it. We don't know our rights, and that's why we're kowtowing to this. We must be informed. So I implore you, please, I beg you, copy this. Go on this website one more time. It's called the Freedom Defense. The Freedom, Health Freedom. There we go. www.healthfreedomdefense.org. And go to the second item, resources. Right up pops 7 different items about the tests, your questions and answers, and then the 2 documents you give to your employers. And also, I beg you to give them to your employees and have a meeting, show everybody their rights.
Get educated. Get everybody involved. Have a private meeting. Have your own union meeting. Have your own conference with the employees and show them what's going on.
Amen.
Because the employee doesn't want to lose all its employees because it will be out of business. But we, the people, when we stick together, that is what reigns and that is what rules. Don't let these commie people that are incentivized by our government tell you got to have vaxes and you got to have this and take their cheap money. Because
they're going to be before the tribunals, and they will be accused of war crimes, guys. That's a given right now. Okay, that is a given. So why should you give up your job, and why should you cause your employer to lose their business because they don't know the law? They need to know the law too. They want to have rights to say, no, I'm not going to abide by this as well as you do, to not lose your job. So don't quit your job today. That's what I want to put on this title of this is don't quit your job today because
before you quit your job,
before
get
you
educated.
quit your job. There you go. That's exactly right.
Educate yourself.
So I think that's all I got to say. But this is great stuff, and it's so easy to print out. So just you got to go on.
And it's easy to read, easy to understand, and once you know, you're armed.
Right.
To be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Absolutely.
To have understanding, you're informed. You can look your boss in the eye. You can say, "This is illegal." Do you know you're participating in illegal activity?
Right.
And you can be sued
and lose your business.
This is the rights we the people have, and it's time we start enforcing. It's time we start speaking this.
And to know the Nuremberg Code and all the other laws that are keeping them from what they're doing is absolutely illegal. I don't care if it's emergency authorization. They don't really have a right because there are other things that they're not applying that are part of that law that they're not applying. They're just still making us do it anyway, which is illegal. So all the way around, it goes on and on why it's illegal. So, and you guys just please print these off. Maybe go to your town square and pass these letters out. Get your people at your work to pass them out to their friends, their neighbors, so that their children are not starving that are in your neighborhood because their parents lost their jobs, because their employer lost their business, or because they wouldn't take the shot, or whatever it is that caused them to lose their job. We don't want this going on. We don't want people giving up their jobs anymore. But we've got to stand up as Americans. Look, we came to this country because we believed in freedom. Our forefathers came to this country because they believed in freedom. They gave up many of their lives, their husbands' and wives' lives, because they're willing to come over and be pilgrims to go across and develop this land. Why? Because they wanted freedom from the Queen, freedom from unfair laws. They wanted freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom, a right to live and pursue happiness. And we can't just give up those rights. That's why we're Americans. That's what makes us different than everybody else, because we're willing to risk our lives for these kinds of freedoms. And so we've got to stand up. If we don't, not any other country is going to. If we do, then maybe this will go down, and I believe that it will, because I believe that God is on our side.
It says who God has freed must remain free. What God has freed must remain free.
Yes.
And we're free. We're still free. But we've got to use our voices. We can't just lay back and watch TV and just allow this communism. And that's what it is. We cannot water it down. This is communism.
It sure
Policing
is.
And manhandling people brutally and harshly.
Yes.
Because they don't like tyranny. This is wrong. We got to stand against tyranny.
And it's hurting the animals, the water, the air, the trees. breathes, everything that breathes and lives, it's hurting everything what's going on here in our country. And you know that it says in the Revelations that God is going to put to ruin those who are ruining the earth. And I want to add, and his beloved children. So he's not going to tolerate this forever. And I want to assure you that he's not going to let the devil have his way. He's not. It will not go to the nth degree as the devil's seeing it, where it's like the Matrix at the end, where he shows Neo the gray city in 2121 or whatever year it was in the 2100s, where everything was gray and dead and devoid of love, and there's nothing but gray. Everything was gray. That's the wish of the devil. But you know what? God says he's going to put to ruin those ruining the earth. So that's the devil and his cronies, whoever they are. And it will not happen. It will not be that way. That's just his wish. So, but we're his vessels. And so we want to be soft and pliable. And yes, you know, act like Christians should act like whatever. But you guys just sit down and just take it. Did Jesus do that? No. He came here so that people might have life and have it more abundantly. And he came to set the captives free, and the defenseless and the helpless free, and so the orphans free. He came to set us free. So we're his vessels, and we're his servants, and we're to do our job. So please, I beg you, get out there, pass this stuff around, let it be known, use your voice, get involved. Look, I don't want to get involved any more than you do, but we have a responsibility before God to do it. I'm begging you.
And it's not stopping. It's not stopping. You think everybody was waiting for Trump, and who knows what Trump's doing, right? Really. But the truth of it is, we got to get involved. Yeah, regardless of whether Trump gets involved or whoever gets involved, whatever prophecy.
He could be killed. It doesn't matter. This is our responsibility. I believe that that's why we're living in this time right now, is because we're being called upon to, quote, get our voice. Because, Christians have learned how to not have their voice for a very long time, for a very, very long time. I'm talking thousands of years. And as we've gone through history, being slaves, just like the Israelites were slaves in the wilderness for 40 years. We've been slaves for a very long time, not knowing it, and nonetheless, we've been enslaved and getting worse, just like the Pharaoh was getting them in worse and making their work harder and for less money and less supplies to do their job and making it really impossible for them. And they kept crying out and crying out and crying out to God. Well, we're crying out to God. All of us are. I know that it can be heard in heaven. And so, but God is calling upon us to get our voices and to be his vessels. That's all I want to say. So please do your job. That's all we're asking. Do your job. We're trying to do our job right now, as much as we want to hide our heads in the sand too. We just can't. We're being called upon to stand up and be true Americans.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so
Bless
much
you.
for hearing us, and check out these resources. They're free. Get educated,
Yes,
be
they are.
informed, and keep your job.
Yes.
And put them on notice. Those
Yep.
employers, put whoever on notice that you know your rights.
Yes. And when you go into this website, you do not have to become a member. Just look for the resources button, push on it, and there's these documents. They're free. Absolutely free. No
awesome.
membership, no signing in, nothing. Okay? All right.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Love y'all. Be strong.
Yep.